Welcome in, Braves Country. We were happy to have you over here at the Pennant Grace for episode we have lost count, but we have not lost count of is that we are presented by Roback, and you can get 20% off your order with code PG20.
Father's Day is Sunday.
I know.
I can't believe it's really crept up on us.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
So for those of you, if you purchase anything Roback using that code PG20, send a photo in, post that on social media and tag us of the item, you with the item, your kids giving you the item, whatever it is, so that we can repost that and share the love there.
That's a great idea.
PG20, check out. I'm full of great ideas.
Oh, I love it. If you guys don't know, we both manage our social media accounts. So I trust him fully. He trusts me fully. And every once in a while, there's some great ideas that come out of it.
Every once in a while. And we were just together Friday.
Was that on Friday?
And we're here again on a Monday.
Wait, we were.
We were.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, truthfully, today I was lucky enough to host the next round alongside Jim Dunaway and Taylor Korn as well. And there was a lot of chatter in the chat room today about the Braves, and you guys kind of led the discussion amongst yourselves. We didn't really touch on it on the show, but I texted my partner in crime and said, okay, we need to meet. We need to talk about some things and just kind of give a State of the Union address.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about what is wrong with this team.
What is wrong with this team? So when you lose 3 of 4 to the Washington Nationals, it prompts the question of what the heck is wrong with this team? So I want to get a couple of things out of the way super quick. So unfortunately, you had a really good game from Chris Sale, good start from him that was wasted. I wanted to mention that first since we hit on him Friday and did have that good start. I thought he looked really good. Strikeouts again were high, and he got no support at all. You could talk a little bit about what we saw from Charlie Morton, and then obviously the big debut yesterday.
About him.
But I don't want to spend too much time on pitching because pitching is not the problem.
No.
And some of the complaints, I don't know what we'll get into and what, how people are pointing the finger, but the team's not hitting. What do you do? I don't want to hear a whole lot about the pitching. I don't want to hear a whole lot about, what does Brian Snitker do here? What can Brian Snitker do if no one is hitting up and down the lineup? You're going to, bat, Sean Murphy and lead off? I mean, what are you going to do, right?
Do you think that it is now time to kind of put all 9 names in a hat and we just go from there and figure it out?
No, because I don't think you ever want to just do things that don't make sense just for the fact of shaking it up.
Yeah, like we saw in the Phillies series back in the fall. Who was it? Vaughn Grissom came in, last batter. The lineup had never been that way. That's not good.
Yeah, so there are certain things you can do that even if they're outside of the box, that still makes sense. So you just don't want to abandon that altogether. Yeah. And, if guys aren't hitting, I don't know what can be done until you start hitting. And it's such a broken record at this point.
It is.
We're not going to hit the panic button. We may want to buy a panic button or make one just so we have it.
So when the time comes, well, no, hopefully the time does not come. Yeah. But if it ever does happen.
Yeah. So it's kind of all over the place. But one of the questions, I think it was 4 downs today on the next round, and friend of the show, Jimmy D, said, well, who has a better chance of making the playoffs, the Alabama Crimson Tide in the new expanded 12-team format or the Atlanta Braves? And Jim's point, which is a good point, is there's not a lot of great teams in the National League right now.
Right.
Who has a winning record? Who is above 500 in the National League? You have the 2 in the NL East, the Philadelphia Phillies, who are the best team right now in the National League, and our Atlanta Braves.
Which we're on track to not be there next
And that
week.
is really due to a good start.
Yeah.
Right? That is due to what you did the first part rather than this second part if you divided the early part of the season into halves. Milwaukee, only team in their division, and the Dodgers, only team in their division. There's 4 teams in the National League above 500. You are honestly looking at a scenario where the Braves could default into a playoff spot, which is not that uncommon. We see teams all the time, sometimes even winning a division by default. Well, there's just not a lot of good teams in that division, and they end up always think of the AL Central. AL Central has had some really lean years, and somebody has to win it, so that team's going to get in.
Did you think that we would see that this year?
No. And you can't this team is not designed you have very good pitching, you have very good defense, but this team is not designed for small ball. They're not designed to win 2-1 games and things like that. This is a team designed to mash. This is a team that's designed to score a lot of runs. And if you're not scoring a lot of runs, the initial part of the season proved you can get away with it for a little while, but eventually that's going to catch up with you, right?
Well, and the problem is, we were texting about this yesterday, and you said it, the Braves are getting pushed around by not very good teams.
Yeah, you would have thought, if let's say you drop in completely out of context and you don't know what you're watching, you would think that the Washington Nationals are really good.
Like, I mean, insane.
Yeah, like a championship contending team.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
No. And it's tough because I feel like in previous years, pitching has always been a sore spot, and the offense has always kind of been what's been reliable. But now roles are switching, and we're wasting really impressive starts and outings with no support on the back end.
That's a great point, and I think it's time we start calling people out. So I got a couple of people I'm going to call out.
Oh my goodness, it's the
today.
first time. PG
what do you think
call
about
out.
that?
Okay.
I'm going to call out former Rookie of the Year and my father's favorite player, Money Mike, Michael Harris II, who we love.
We do.
We love everybody on the team. Mike's got to start hitting. He's in his young career, he's well below what his career average is right now. I think he's batting.
It's not good.
240.
We can look it up.
Something. And my other's Matt Olson. And we talked about this Friday. It was in June, mid-June, so we're technically not even there yet, where Matt Olson really caught fire and had an MVP candidate season. And so I say all this knowing these are not foregone conclusions, nor are they, it's too late now and we're just calling people
I'm
out.
going to slide over.
Yeah.
That is the average.
248. How about that?
Yep.
So I need those two guys. Those are two guys that I want to see really, really step up.
Matt Olson and Mike Harris.
Yeah.
I want to see Riley step up. I think we're seeing glimpses, though. He has been in the conversation, but it seems like too, which is frustrating as a fan, nothing is falling the Braves' way.
No.
Nothing. The only thing I can think of is the non-injury, truthfully, to Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Hard hit balls that are hit right to someone, just little things like that. But all teams kind of deal with that, and at some point you're going to start making excuses. Can't talk about the Phillies schedule anymore. That's done. The Phillies you can put the Phillies in there against anybody, and they got a good chance of taking that series. I don't care who they're playing. And you can't even look at the schedule ahead and say, well, here's some relief coming for the Braves.
Yeah.
And, the bad part is you've just lost 3 or 4 to Washington and you get the day off, and then you've got Baltimore, who's one of the best teams in baseball.
And you can't discount that. And it's not, again, in the beginning of our show, I think we made it through 10 episodes, which is also another milestone.
Sunshine and lollipops in those early days. Everything was just great.
It was. And one of the things that we pointed out when the woes started happening was, guys, no. The Phillies are playing how they should. And I'm going to say it, the Phillies would have taken all 4 from the Nationals.
Yes, and the Braves.
Yeah, and the Braves.
Yeah.
So we can't use that excuse anymore. Again, we're not saying it's time to panic by any means, but people are getting antsy.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I did like, Hurston Waldrop. Mm-hmm. His stat line is not going to reflect what he actually did. So the second time through the lineup, it gave him some trouble. But I think that is a good thing that came out of the weekend.
They all but admitted this kid is nowhere close to being ready. And we're putting him in there to eat up a start, and that's it. And so I don't know how many innings he has, but it is astronomically low.
Yeah.
And so this guy is going to be a major feature into their plans, just like A.J. Smith-Shawver is going to be. And you saw a glimpse of that, and you saw also that, it just reiterated that obviously he's nowhere close to being ready, but people knew that already. I don't think he did anything at all to damage.
No.
I agree with you. He didn't do anything to damage his case. I think he's going to be one of those key pieces in that rotation at some point. Needs a lot more experience. Looked great in that early going. And obviously, it did fall apart in that fourth inning. Yeah, so.
Well, and one thing to put into perspective for Hurston Waldrop is that this time last year, he was in Omaha.
Yeah.
So think about, a year. What were you doing a year ago today? Do you know?
Not this show. So
no, you weren't there. I was at the beach. I was coming home from Europe.
Yeah.
That feels like yesterday.
Right.
Quick flex on the Europe thing.
Yeah.
But imagine then you're thrust into the starting role for the Atlanta Braves, your hometown team.
Yes.
Like that you are living out every little kid's dream that grows up in Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi.
Pennant Grace is a family-friendly show. When you are frustrated, much as I was yesterday, and by this point where it really fell off the rails, I was at a public pool and I was listening to the game. And what is your expression of choice to express your frustration when the Braves are not doing well?
I would say, so yesterday I was actually in Atlanta, so I was able to watch my parents. And my dad is infamous for he just will walk out. Like he does not say anything, walks out. And my mom, bless her heart, she is trying to cheer the Braves on to the ninth inning.
Good job, Mom.
She is awesome. Always. And sometimes, and it used to, every once in a while,
it would work.
It would work.
Yeah.
We even saw flashes yesterday of potentially a rally. And I miss when we were on the receiving end of competitive comebacks.
Yes.
We have not been on the receiving end of that in a long time.
And that was a real staple and a hallmark of that team.
Yes. It was no matter what, no matter how many runs you're down, it doesn't matter. It's the Braves.
Right.
And now it's like, oh, shoot, we are up 2-1.
There was a point last season where the team would be down in the 7th, and I was expecting to win.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. I'm a good dag nabbit kind of guy.
Nabbit.
Is a good one for me. Dag nabbit.
Goodness gracious. That's
God bless America. Yeah. The Nationals. Are you kidding me here?
Yeah, I don't know. And I've seen some stuff on social media, and this did stick out to me. They said that the Braves were fun to watch even when they would lose. They still had the energy. They still had, I don't know if I want to call it hope, but the mindset that, okay, we'll come out tomorrow and we'll win.
Right.
It was almost, again, I don't know if this is the right phrase, but an arrogance in a sense of confidence. That's what it was.
Well, and that's why I say about what do you do, like if you're Brian Snitker and things like that, do you see that the team wasn't constructed well enough to win? No. It's constructed to win championships, right? Do you see that the team, there's a potential clubhouse chemistry issue? We haven't seen anything like that, right?
We've always talked about how that clubhouse, it makes us as fans that are watching, it makes you guys love that team.
Right.
So I personally want to know, what is the disconnect of what's happening? Because even Hurston Waldrep, when he got pulled, seeing the entire infield come in, pat him on the back, and then how Snit, did you see yesterday, Snit like literally shaking him on his shoulders, pep talk. I love that. That's what you want to see in a coach. That's what you want to see in your team. So what is a missing link between that and producing on the field? You've
got a great front office. You've got a great stability in your coaching staff, despite losing those two very valuable position coaches we talked about. You've got what appears to be a great clubhouse and team chemistry. There's no secret ingredient here. Mm-hmm. You're just not hitting the baseball.
Right.
And when it comes to baseball, ladies and gentlemen, hitting the baseball
really
is key to success.
It's very interesting, and there's so many nuances because there's a lot of streaks and there's a lot of things like that, momentum, and it seems like the Braves just haven't caught on to that. But again, if you were to sit down 3 managers at this table, they would all give you 3 different answers as to what constitutes a good lineup.
Yeah.
What is needed for that to be producing. So again, no panic button is being pushed, but it's harder and harder to tune in and be disappointed. I watched the track and field national championship on Friday because I was like, well, let me see what else is on.
Let me see if I can watch a team that I know about win. And you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
The Mets were 10.5 games up, I believe, when the infamous the NL East is over debacle happened, and the Braves end up winning that. So the Braves aren't out. The Phillies and Mets are completely different situations, and the Phillies know how to win and make postseason runs, and this team has shown that. They're full of these veteran guys, so it's a completely different deal than with the Mets, who just, again, feel like a snake-bit organization. I do believe, this is going way back to the panic button talk. Okay. I do believe the Braves will be a postseason team. I'm still confident in that. Me too. Now, there is no way that you could legitimately say that the Braves are an elite team right now. You cannot hit that poorly and say anything like that. But I do think that they're a playoff team. It's got to get better from what it is. I would love to see, you mentioned Austin Riley. I mentioned Michael Harris the second and Matt Olson. I'd love to see any combination of those guys. If somebody can catch on and get
catch
hot.
fire. Yeah. I remember we talked about on Friday, Marcel saying that they're so close. They're right behind me.
Look at what Marcel is doing with the lack of support around him. What would his numbers be like? Look at where he bats in the order.
Right.
If the guys around him were doing close to what they're supposed to be doing, what would his RBIs be?
No, it would be insane. And I think why we're not pushing the panic button is if Ozuna is saying that about his own teammates. At the end of the day, we can sit here, we can talk about the Braves. You guys can talk about the Braves on message boards, on X, whatever. But that team knows each other the best.
I agree.
So the insight that they give us, I take that over any sort of analysis from a writer, any sort of breakdown statistic-wise. Marcel Ozuna has confidence in his teammates.
Yeah. And
we have confidence in them.
Yeah, so we're interested in what you guys think. If the Braves were to miss the postseason, let's go ahead and say the Phillies win the division, the Braves are a wild card. If the Braves don't get one of those wild card teams, who are other teams in the National League you see with the capability of getting hot? Remember, no one, including myself, saw the Arizona Diamondbacks coming last year. And so a lot of wild things can happen. If there are teams that you think are bubbling under the surface there that you could see make a big run, we're interested to see who you think those are.
Yeah, let us know. We'd love to hear from you always. So we have an email you can send us some questions to. We're always on our DMs, things like that. But we really do want to interact with you guys because we couldn't do this without our listeners, which is pretty cool. So we're going to mix it up to round out the show. And I decided that we're going to talk about if we were professional baseball players,
right?
What position we would want to play, which one we would least likely play, and what would be the most intimidating thing about playing in a major league game.
Wow. It's such a hard question for me because, you got to think that you're good enough to play in the major leagues,
right.
And being good at things is, it would take a little while to get used to that. And so, being coordinated and fast and
no, we're
knowing
still
what
each
to
other.
do with my hands.
Like,
right.
I look like me, you look you.
Yeah, but I can play baseball really well.
Yeah.
I would want to be a catcher.
Okay.
I love the connection. The catcher knows all. The catcher is connected
Foundation.
to the pitcher. The catcher is, defensively and obviously he just knows batters well. Everybody batter that comes up is there, but the catcher, it's a cool, unique thing. Catchers are tough and they're awesome, and so I would want to be a catcher. It would be very terrifying, those moments where wild pitch or whatever, and the catcher can't find the ball.
Right, and you're like, what?
There's somebody like on second or third.
Yeah.
And it's
it makes my heart pound every time.
What would I not want to be would be anywhere in the outfield.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Scared of losing it in the lights
or
the sun is one.
That's always so humbling.
Yeah, I've got bad vision, and so vision things scare me. In this scenario, though, somehow my vision is obviously improved because I'm playing in the major leagues. And, just kind of the configurations of the park are different, and that, sometimes you have to play shallow, you have to play deep, and all those kind of things. So that would be mine. What would be yours?
Okay, I played softball back in the day. I was not very good, shockingly, right? I was actually a catcher.
Oh, how about that?
I was a catcher and a pitcher and third base. I hated third base because those balls come at you so quick. Hot corner. So with that being said, I would want to be a pitcher, and I would want to be a setup guy.
Oh, I like it.
Because you get to, and it's not an easy job by any means. The stress is unimaginable. But you have it pretty good if you can get pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to be in that situation. Then you're iconic too, like Tyler Matzik in the World Series. You have those moments.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have a favorite setup guy? He would be a good one.
Yeah, he would be a good one. I would say him, or we have to shout out Ben Joyce, of course.
AJ Minner, who's coming back. I believe he's about to be in Gwinnett. Is that right?
Yeah, he's in the process. That's another. We're going to take the small victories.
Yeah. I mean, getting AJ back's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. Now, what's funny is I was talking about Hurston Waldrop with my mom.
Yeah.
And I was like, if I was a starting pitcher, I almost tweeted this, but if I was a starting pitcher and I was getting my first major league start, there is no one I would want behind the plate than Travis d'Arnaud.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Right.
I feel like that would be the most comforting thing in the world.
Yeah, because he's like a coach on the field.
Yeah.
Hurston Waldrop also really good hair.
Yeah.
He's got the hair of a superstar.
He does. And the interview with his family was so sweet when his little sister was talking to Lauren Shahamadi, the sideline reporter. And she goes, okay, it's like, so are you excited to be in DC? She goes, yes, my social studies teacher has told me a lot about it.
Wow.
But it was so sweet. And his family was awesome. So it was cool to see that. But position I would least likely play, I would.
How about third base? You didn't like
third
it.
Base.
Yeah.
Third base.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is, because you're having to make a lot of defensive plays, and it's coming at you hot. Austin Riley, a lot of respect for you.
There you go. There you go. I asked, speaking of Hurston Waldrop's hair, I asked my parents were in town this past week, and so I asked my mom and my wife who are in the room, who is the most handsome Atlanta Brave. My wife ignored the question, which is par of the course. And my mom said, well, I don't know, with Dansby gone. And I was like, what about Matt Olson there? He's a tall drink of water. What would be your answer to that, most handsome Brave?
Oh, my goodness. I don't know. Dansby was the heartthrob for many years. I had the Dansby jersey in high school.
Right.
Great hair, of course.
Yeah,
I was
really
actually at a wedding, and it was the same venue where he got married.
How about that?
I know. It was very nice. Matt Olson, it is just they're all so sweet to me.
Yeah.
Like, they just look like sweet guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
You
I would
like
say
that?
I do. They just like sweet
Sweetness.
individuals.
Yeah.
And we always joke about it that like they just seem very wholesome as a group, going back to that clubhouse mentality. Like you could host a team at y'all's house and you feel pretty comfortable with it.
Oh, I thought nice guys finished last. Is that
No, that is
it's
not true. Nice guys finish first.
That has been debunked on this show.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, well, that's going to round us out, guys, here on the Pennant Grace. This was a fun episode.
Hey, let's beat the Orioles.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wouldn't that be a nice...
that would be awesome.
That'd be a great series to bounce back, and it would do... I mean, at this point, no matter who you're playing, it would mean a lot. But to be able... If you take a series against a team as good as Baltimore, I think that's a big confidence boost for the guys in the clubhouse. I think it's a big confidence boost for the fan base.
I do, too. I think that is what the fan base needs right now. Again, we're just fine. It's mid-June now, or it's still early June.
Yeah.
Early June.
Hey, we can lose. Braves can lose every game from here on out. We're going to keep giving you this content. We are not. We're not fair weather fans.
No.
We're going to keep watching. We're going to keep delivering this show to you no matter what.
We are. But with Father's Day right around the corner, you guys know the drill. PG20 at Roback gets you 20% off your order. It's not too late to order a gift for dad. And girls, if you guys want a cute pickleball outfit, tennis, you name it, they've got it. Super comfortable, outerwear, workwear even. They have everything.
They've got it all.
Yeah. Are you receiving anything from Roback for Father's Day?
We shall see.
Oh, okay.
Tune in to find out, everyone.
We'll do another live show this week. Time TBD on that. But let us know if you like this setup in the main studio. If you guys like the setup back in our little corner. We haven't been there in a while.
We haven't. Kind of miss it.
I know. But give us any suggestions, and we will send out a mailbag probably after this for any questions, comments that you want us to talk about in the near future. But we are, as always, happy to have you, Braves Country, and look forward to seeing you next time.